Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz. Today is December 10, 2015, 4:08 a.m. And topic, cities under the ocean. Um, I ran across this about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, and someone had told me about it and told me where to go and find it. Um, and I couldn't find it, and I didn't type in the wrong things, but I did finally hear it from someone that was on the Sid Roth show, I believe. And I should have written his name down. I didn't, but then later I went and finally did look at it, and even found a part of a National Geographic. It wasn't that Geo, well, maybe it wasn't that Geo, that had a minute or two clip on it. So I looked at it. Let me tell you about this thing. Did you know that there are giant cities in our oceans? And when I say giant, I'm talking giant. I live in Birmingham, Alabama. And if I go dead south, dead south, I will hit the eastern corner of Panama City Beach, Florida at 247 to 49 miles, somewhere in there. And if you were to drive the length of this city that they found just recently off the coast of Japan, you still have 67 miles to drive before you cross that one city. It's 300 miles long. This is a city 300 miles long. A continuous road. There are steps, and this is a wide road, and there are steps going to buildings. There's over 1,000 buildings down there. And now, as far as discovering or going inside, I don't know what they've done, but this is all they're saying about it. But come to find out, there are dozens and dozens of these. That's just one off the coast of Japan. There's more off the coast of Japan. And in the deep trench, not the Mariana Trench, but one of the other trenches, I don't know the name of it, but you have the deep trench here off of in the South Pacific, but then almost not straight through, if you go on the other side of the world, but almost, you have a ridge under the ocean. In other words, you have mountains under the ocean that are 4 miles high, that's almost in alignment with the deep trenches that are 7 miles deep. It's like that's pushed down, and the other side, it raised up. And inside one of those deep trenches at 5 miles, there is a huge city. And that, my friend, was on the Jack Van Impe show. He's the one that talked about that one. And in fact, he could have been the one that talked about the other. And then they went on to say, in the Black Sea, they try to come up with a theory why, one of the water basins was a sea, but it was enclosed, and then the crack in the water or in the earth at the flood of Noah caused the Black Sea to drain down and then make the Mediterranean bigger, but all the seas were, full. But anyway, this is what the experts, Jack Van Impe and other people, says God flooded the world by water because there was a giant electrical grid around this earth, and water was the only way to short it out. I did a blog not too long ago, 2 or 3 or 4 back, with piezoelectric, piezo rock. It's got metal particles in it, and metal particles relate to the what am I trying to say? The gravitational, the north and south poles of the earth, and that protects us from the sun. It kicks off the rays and all. But also, if you add crystal to that piezo rock, then you get something. You get something, and I didn't think I would be doing this, but I'm gonna find one and show you, because I did a dozen of them, and I got them right here somewhere. Bear with me, because here they are, and I made them small, but here they are. They are called Orgonites. A man working for the United States government and just trying to come up with things came up with this. In here, I made these small, but when I was at on the West Coast 2 years ago, I bought like 5 to 8 pounds of crystals, and all of them were tall, anywhere from 2.5 inches tall, down, or 3 inches, and down to about an inch tall. Inch tall in here, inch tall in here. And also, I'm wrapped, you might can see the copper in the bottom, and then you can see the stainless in the bottom. Plus, I have another metal in there. And but metal particles with that crystal, quartz crystal, in close proximity, look them up. They do something. Some people say if you make them in a gallon bucket and you use 5 foot or 6 foot copper tubing, like for your plumbing, and you arrange them perfectly, and in the middle you have as big as quartz crystal you can get, but stand it up and down. It's got to go straight up, that you can actually set this up, and if there is a chemtrail above you, and you know how they last, they don't go away, they just stay and stay and stay. But if you set this out, that chemtrail above you will actually break up and move out of the way. And you can go on the internet and watch it for yourself. Now, here recently, one of the guys I was watching, because that's what got me interested in it, he said the last 2 times he put that 5-gallon bucket out there, chemtrail broke up, and then 15 minutes later, a military helicopter flew over his house about 3 times. And when I was a pilot some years back, when we found an airfield that was not on the map, we'd fly it, and we'd hit the and get the coordinates on it, and we'd put the coordinates on the map, and we'd pass it around to the other guys. This is a safe emergency landing strip. It's grass strip, and the GPS coordinates, and but they flew over his house 3 different times with this jig 5 a gallon. He called it Cloudbuster, and I don't know what they can do to you, but I do know the man that made this, the government stopped him, but before he could get completely stopped, he leaked it out to a friend of his, and his friend put it on the YouTube, and it's taken off. People are doing it. This is supposed to aerate your water going into the house. If you put it by the pipe going into your house, it should aerate the water, and it should also take out some of the particles in it that's not good for you, like fluoride and stuff like that. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up. I had it sitting here to do for days and days, and I kept forgetting about it, but here it is. So this, and then the cities are the ones that really get my attention. 300 miles long. And that's not the only one that's at least 300 miles long. There are others at 300 miles long. And one of them is in the Black Sea. One of them's, well, right there at Greece and Greece and something there. Excuse me. And there are several off the Indian coast, India. And there seems to be more there than there is around Japan. And than there is in the Black Sea. And you'd think the Black Sea, that's where almost, creation, that area. And anyway, those two things, I wanted to throw them out. I still have not prepared the blog I have on CERN because I keep running into unanswered questions, and I got to find those out and give you a better answer than what I have. Jody Wolf Expoz.